Hey guys, just Maple here to talk to you before we cut to the video. I just want to let you know that this was recorded live sometime this past December. I don't quite remember when, but with that said, if you guys were interested in catching myself and Tyandaga live, be sure to follow me on Twitch as well as Twitter, both of which should notify you when I do go live. Twitter is also the place to be to see my artwork and other going-ons as well. But yeah, with that said, I will just cut to the stream now. I hope you enjoy.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. Okay. I'm gonna go over to Twitter. Close all of those fuckers.
Actually, that's a good question. Is swearing allowed on the stream?
Yes.
I like how quick you're to say, like, yes, of course.
Well, because I just said fuckers, so
That's true.
If by my own rules said I wasn't allowed to, I would have been like, God damn it, oh, shit, and just kind of digging a deeper hole for myself.
Well, you could have been like, oh, like, you know, guests? No, you're not allowed to swear.
Only me.
But I am.
Only so. I am allowed to. Cowards.
Goodness.
And just say, whoa, we have 6 people here already. Look at that.
Welcome.
Just sending up the thing on Twitter.
Changing the category on Twitter.
No. That's the thing with Twitter. I don't have to worry about categories. Okay.
Yeah, Twitter's easy. It's simple.
It's simple and clean, as one would say.
Like a bar of soap.
You're like a bar of soap.
No, like Twitter is simple and clean like a bar of soap.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really like a bar of soap as far as I know.
Right, I see. I see.
Good. Oh, man. Oh my god, I forgot how cute the sketch was that you had there.
Oh, should I maybe advertise on Discord? Whoa. Hey, I got somebody following me. Thank you. I should maybe actually do something, right?
Lolania. Melania? Ilania?
Anyway.
No, that was the name of the...
No, I know, but it's like, as we can't exactly pronounce it, we thank you regardless.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's one of the things that, like, I'm going to complain for a moment. And although Eladia, whatever, cruel name, but this is just a thing for me. I always hate how, like, on like websites and stuff, how like the I's, like capital I's and like lowercase L's look exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And half the time you can't tell, or like it's a very small, like, minute difference. I hate that. I wish there was like some sort of font that was more used that differentiated them, you know?
Yeah, I guess. No, I agree with you there. It's a pain in the ass. But it is what it is, and we can use our brains to figure it out.
Goodness. Do you mind if so there's I don't know who it is in my like apartment complex or whatever, mm-hmm. But there's this guy who basically just shouts "woo" like randomly at like different points in the day on like maybe like once or twice a week. I don't know what's going on over there, but I wish I was him. He sounds like he's having a blast.
Well, I mean,
like you could be having like a bad day. Like I'm just like, oh, you know, today's kind of, you know, lousy. Then all you hear in the distance, woo! You know what? Today's actually going okay. Life's not so bad.
Well, everything's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, like I don't know. It makes me feel like there's good in the world.
Some other guy in your apartment complex just screaming makes you know that there's good in the world?
Surprisingly, yes. Good. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, man.
That's good.
It is good.
then now we're into the dilemma of we suck at having a conversation while we're both drawing.
I'll actually, I didn't want to say it, but I guess I should say, I'm not actually drawing right now.
So you lied to me.
I was going to, but then I didn't, and my intention was noble. When I said it, I meant it, but then I just didn't want to draw. So, yeah, I'm not drawing.
I just had another follow, but I just missed it. So, thank you, name who. Oh wait, no. As I'm there destroying my desk. Thank you, Libestern, for the follow. Sorry that I can't pronounce names today. And then,
if you follow us, we will butcher your name for free, live
air. For free. It's. And then Noah says, "Happy holidays to you and Tyandaga." Also, question for you guys: what is your favorite Christmas song and favorite My Little Pony best gift ever moment? Tyandaga, you go first.
Oh God! Oh, Christmas songs. Yeah, because I totally know lots of Christmas songs. You know what? Actually, it's kind of a cute one. I like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song, which may sound surprising, but I like the sort of like, I think it's called like the joke version or whatever. There's like a sort of like a bridge version where like
it's
you
Batman?
sort of
no
it's not Batman. It's like I don't remember the lyrics exactly, but like you'll know it if you went to a school that sang it as well. But like the reason why I like it a lot is because I remember like as a kid in elementary school, we'd all be packed into the gymnasium and like during Christmas time or whatever, and we would all just like everyone would just sing songs, and for the most part I didn't know any of them. So it was a bit weird for me. Like I would just kind of groove along. But with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like everybody kind of got involved in that, and like everyone just had fun. And there was just something about it, Everyone enjoyed, everyone had a blast, and like that sense of camaraderie. Like I kind of miss that. So that always has a special place in my heart as far as that goes. But then the second question, favorite My Little Pony best gift ever moment. Is that an episode?
Yeah, it's that. I think that's the one where the reindeers were, like, we got the reindeers.
Oh, okay. I'll be honest, I remember very little about the episode. I've seen it like once. I thought it was okay. I didn't really resonate too much with it, but can't really remember. Yeah,
I'd have to say I'm in the same boat with you with best gift ever. I watched it the one time, and then that was it. And then, so I don't really quite remember too much about it to say that I had a favorite moment from it specifically.
What's your top 10 favorite moments of the episode? Like, I don't know. It's I think, was that the episode, again, I'm hoping I'm not mistaking this. I think that was the episode where, like, this was like a sort of subplot where I think Rarity had, like, she lost her scarf or something, or some sort of clothing item, and then, like, it ended up being, like, this kid that found it, but this kid was, like, super into, like, fashion. It was a hat or something. I forget what exactly it was.
I think that might be the same episode.
Yeah, I thought that moment, like, there was that whole little, like, subplot with Rarity and then the kid. Like, I thought that was really cute and sweet.
Yeah. Well, because so I can't remember anything else from the episode, I'll concur with your opinion.
Yeah, like, believe me, I don't even know if that's part of the same episode.
Well, under the assumption, well, you know what, Noah might know, so he'll correct us on that if we're not right in that. But
actually, Noah, what's your favorite moment then, and what's your favorite Christmas song?
Well, I guess it depends on my mood. I guess I've always been a fan of the Christmas songs that aren't like there's just songs that just happen to be sung around Christmas time, but they're more like just generally winter songs, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you which song I hate.
Which one?
It's the "All I Want for Christmas is Hippopotamus" or whatever. I forget the lyrics.
Oh yeah, no, I hate that one.
It's just, I hate the voice. I don't know what it is. Like, so a lot of people seem to like it, and that's great. But I wish that song would stop being played. That sounds terrible, but like,
Hey, Ty.
Hey.
I want.
god. What's that? Oh, my internet connection is going ouch.
No, I'm kidding. I agree with you. I hate that one as well. But for one that I like, I know I've been a fan of the Baby It's Cold Outside. I like the ever controversial Baby It's Cold Outside song.
Yeah, that's taken a lot of heat for such a song about like being cold outside. It's taken a lot of heat in the last couple of years.
Leave.
No, you invited me. I'm here for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's just, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's just it fits my aesthetic, and what I like about Christmas is that kind of like jazzy, kind of cool and relaxed, and like it gives me warm vibes. But it's just I don't agree with all the controversy around the song. I think it's all funny, and it's like it's a harmless song, but people just like to look into it.
It's taken out of context, I think.
Yes, it very much is.
But like I agree with you with the song where like you can picture what's happening, and like you can picture the like the setting and the environment that like the sort of two characters or whatever are in the song without ever actually seeing it. Like you can hear that setting, if that makes sense. And I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like sorry, but what was I saying? A comment in the chat just kind of distracted me.
Go on.
Next YouTube beef: Tyandaga versus Mariah Carey.
Yeah, could you imagine like some sort of like TMZ article? like cameras are following me. I'm like, what do you guys want?
Horse famous Tyandaga tries to pick a beef with Mariah Carey.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I would totally like lead into it, you know? Like just with like clearly a joke, of course, but I would totally lean into that. Oh yeah. Also, hello, Chrissy the Scott.
Hey,
Chris the Scott.
Hey Chris, how you doing, pal?
Welcome. Almost missed you there.
Little dragon horse. I'm not sure how dragony you are by this point, but I think I might be right in saying that you have converted to full dragon.
It's like I'm not sure what percentage dragon you are, but it's unacceptable. You need more.
Well, because when I did the redesign, when he commissioned me to do that, it was like he wanted some pony aspects still in it. That's why in the first art I did of him, his back legs are horse legs. And,
right, yeah.
Right, but it's like in recent arts, it looks like he's just gone full dragon. The horse is all gone. He's converted.
It happens. Yeah, no, it happens, right? Characters go through that, like, any OC is kind of like a butterfly, or rather a caterpillar, you know? They have to metamorphosize to their true form.
I think, like a persona, I guess, is... What was I saying? Oh, yeah, a persona is always in that constant state of changing. Like, they'll never quite become a butterfly, but they're just... It's like an indecisive caterpillar.
Actually, there's the children's book for you, the indecisive caterpillar.
I'll bring that one to my mom.
Yeah, you got an idea. I think that's a winning formula.
I keep forgetting what I'm saying.
You're focused. But here, there's a couple. So I'm just gonna read the chat.
Yes, please do.
So Chris the Scott, or I always read that as like Chris the Scoot. I don't know why.
Chris the Scoot.
Like, just imagine him on a scooter, which I think is awesome. I think scooters are awesome. Just saying. But he's saying that the same things happened. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong comment. So he says that he thinks he went full-blown dragon. There's no horse left in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
I think with Maple it was gonna be just like, yeah, she's pony, and then she'll like just have like the shape shifting thing where she turns into a deer, but it's like, no, she's just a deer. Let's just, yeah. She's got no pony left in her. She's fully converted.
I've always found it interesting because like a lot of people do that thing where they say like their character is like a shapeshifter, And like, I'm not no shade to that, of course. Don't get me wrong. But I've always found that interesting. That like, it's very common. A lot of people will say like, "Hey, my OC is a shapeshifter," and then like they change their character based off of like what they're into at the time, or you know. So I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Well, and you know, for me as a kid, I've always been fascinated with, and like whenever anybody asked me, like if I had a superpower, what would it be? I always answer shapeshifting. I've been like that ever since I was a kid.
Wow, that's not a very common one, actually.
Like my favorite Teen Titan was Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Because he was a shapeshifter, and I'm like, fuck, that'd be cool. I want to be a shapeshifter like him. You know, but maybe less green, but
well, your character's green.
Yeah, well, good point. Touche. Anyway.
Also, Vlad, welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you here. Hope you're doing well.
Welcome. As we're here having my revelation of, oh, I'm actually green.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need you to read the chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Because I can't stay focused to save my life.
I thought I was a guest. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you are, but you're going to help me out here.
Okay. So Noah says, also, I love the TF2 Analysis Anarchy holiday special. Blissey the Tiny Heavy is so catchy. And I think Lightning Bliss is so cute, but don't tell her I said that. God, everyone says that. Like, don't tell her I said that.
Well, now I don't really watch much TF2, but from what I do know... She doesn't like being called cute, and if you do call her cute, the hell will rain upon you.
Yeah, like it's one of those like character things. But yeah, thank you for saying that. I actually did edit that holiday special. I can't remember how many years ago. It's probably like 2. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun, and it was kind of special too because like I wasn't really given any direction with how to make it. It was just sort of like, here's a song, do what you want. And I said, okay. And I did what I want, and then they really liked it.
Yeah,
so that was nice.
I remember when you were editing that, and you were like, yeah, no, it's coming out pretty great. And then I was like, oh, wow, that came out pretty great. And I was like, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so it was good. So thank you. Let's see. Other commandments. Liliana. I can't do the name. They said okay. They said earlier in the chat. Just say Layla.
Okay,
Lala.
Oh no. Lala. Just do that.
Lala. Okay. They just asked, what did I miss? My PC just turned off.
You missed me not being able to stay focused on 2 things at once. And Ty boasting about how good he did on that Christmas TFD special.
Boasting, yeah. There you go, yeah. So yeah, you haven't missed too much. Let's see. So Libas Stern, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, says, I kind of like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and no, this isn't meant to be another deer joke. My uncle just had a deer farm, and he always played the song on Christmas on the piano when I was younger. That's actually a really cool story.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah. Like, there's a nice connection to the song. I like that.
For me, all I have with the family Christmas singing is opening up the Bible and singing church songs.
I mean, some of those are real bangers.
Really, buddy.
Let me just say.
Really, though, you want to sing, like... No.
No. Like I like usually the songs are sung by like a lot of people at the same time, kind of like a choir almost, but not always.
Yeah.
I kind of like the sound of like a lot of people singing at the same time.
Well, yeah, and I like that too because I think if there's like a whole lot of people singing at the same time, it's really hard to hear the people who can't sing to save their life. No offense, no shade to those people, but.
Hey, I'm one of them. So
but it's like
I know the feeling.
Everybody can feel good about how they sing, be it if they sing good or not. You know?
Like
if everybody sings in a group like that,
you get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Although I was always the kid in school who never like sang along with the national anthem.
Yeah. No, I mean, who did? Except for like 2 or 3 people who just got way too into singing "Oh Canada."
They were feeling oddly patriotic one morning. But like, no, like when I was younger, like a lot of people in the class, like it was encouraged that you sing along to it, and like you were odd if you weren't singing, which I mean I was odd, but you know.
See, that's
We all
funny
know that.
because, I mean, my mod, who is oh so gorgeous and lovely, thank you. We went to the same schools, and we were like, I'm pretty sure she can agree with me when there was just like you'd have that one substitute teacher who would start singing halfway or towards the end, and then maybe like 1 or 2 kids join in for like the last 3 words. And it's like that's so it's odd. It's interesting to hear that you were the odd one out if you didn't sing along.
Yeah, there'd be like a couple of people. So maybe out of a class of like 35 or 40, there'd be maybe like 5 of us who don't or didn't sing. But yeah, not too. Again, like obviously, like as you get older, people just stop caring, and it's not really as expected.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know that's how it went, at least for me. But yeah.
Interesting. It's funny how we live in the same country, but we experience different things, and it goes to show how big this country is, and you can't expect the same things all across it.
Yeah, like I've heard that a lot with the United States, where it's like, especially Europeans, they seem to be like really surprised to hear how different like each state is. And I think it's important to recognize, and this goes for Canada with our provinces as well, that like each state or each province is in and of itself almost like its own country.
Yeah.
And once you cross that border, oftentimes, while there may be similarities, there are a lot of differences too.
Yes. No, and I think I completely agree where people go, oh, you're from Canada, and like everybody's the same. It's like, oh, hold up. No. Because you got like, every province and territory has its own kind of stereotype and whole different thing going on.
Absolutely.
Some that stand out more than others, aka like it's Newfoundland. Like Newfies, they have like they very much stand out amongst everybody else. And like same with the Quebecers, like those 2 are the only 2 that I can really think of that really stand out too much, and then like Alberta coming in as like a third with how much they stand out with how different they are. But
yeah, it's crazy the differences. Like I remember when I obviously, like every time I visit you, I'm always surprised at just like how many cowboys there are in Alberta, how many liquor stores.
Well, and like, and again, I'm sure my mod can agree, where in Alberta, there's always that one kid who's wearing his cowboy hat and his grad pictures and his cowboy boots. Always one. There never is a case where there is no kid wearing like cowboy boots or like their whole cowboy attire.
That kills me. I mean, you know what though? Like you do you. If you identify as a cowboy and you want to wear that to your graduation, my man, go ahead.
Well, yeah,
I'm
not saying don't do it. It's more like there's always that one kid.
Yeah. I can't, like, and that's the thing. Like, I know we've had this conversation before. I just can't think of like a certain stereotype for like a kid at like graduation or something in my classes. Like the only thing I can think of is maybe like there's always one kid who wears like the full blown like tuxedo, like, you know, like dressed to the nine kind of thing. But
did you ever have in your grad class, or from what you've noticed, did you ever have that one kid that like got a medieval dress sort of thing?
No.
Not to say that's a bad thing, but there's always okay, because there's always that one kid from what I've seen who does that, and that's not a bad thing. It's just they really you know it when you see them, because everybody else here, with the grad dresses anyway, they're all very like modern dresses.
Yeah.
And then there's that one person who pulls up in like their Renaissance Victorian dress, and it's like they they're there to make a statement, or just kind of show it's like, nope, I'm not conforming to what everybody else is wearing, or it's like just because they like old Renaissance dresses. But there's always that one person.
There was this one girl who was she was like really artistic and whatnot, and I remember she was in my graduating class, and what she did was she made a dress out of like iced tea cans, which apparently was really really sharp and hurt, but she wore that. Yeah.
Huh.
It was pretty interesting. Like, it was different.
Different.
Yeah.
That's creative. I'll say that.
Yeah, so it was neat, but yeah, I don't think we have anything like that. So yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. I may know.
Very interesting.
Oh, my one. Sorry, I had to take a drink.
How dare you drink?
Clarky says, "I'll never forget that one grad year with the bright orange and a hunting pattern duct taped dress and cowboy boots, looking good on her, but it was certainly a statement."
Wow.
And as somebody,
like,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No. You.
Okay, we're like out Canadian each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I just can't even picture that in my head. Like it sounds ridiculous, but like I just don't know. Like I can't even imagine what that looks like.
No, and it's and I was at her grad ceremony, Clarky's, and I didn't see that person. I saw the person who wore like the tux, the money tux. I remember that one.
What happened at your school? Like, does everyone have like their own thing? It sounds like it's straight out of a show or something, like right out of a cartoon. Like, what on earth is going on over there?
Well, because did you guys know? Because over here we don't really do the grad gowns. I mean, I never saw that anyway.
Okay.
So I mean that's one thing, but yeah, no, I remember the one guy who. Yeah, just kind of had this tuxedo that had a money pattern on it, and it's kind of funny because Clarky, she leaned over, she's like, I pointed it out, she's like, yeah, no, I hate him. So I guess, and she was saying how like he was like a like kind of a prick, or like he just like a loud and big personality.
Oh yeah. Like those are the kinds of people that like either you love them because they're like they're really awesome, or you hate them because they're really not awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's no in between with someone wearing like a big money suit.
No, but it's like, I guess what you wear to grad says a lot about like your grad class and what kind of people you're graduating with, right? And in that,
right,
I think there's a sort of beauty in that.
I mean, though, like at least for me, like I don't know, maybe it's different. Maybe you guys do it differently, but like we wore like cap and gowns.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't really matter what you're wearing. Like you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm covered in basically like surgical garb. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, well, because I like much like Chris, I never graduated from high school, so I don't have my own graduation experiences to really go from. So it's like I'm just going based off of like the one graduation ceremony I've ever been to in my life. And like kind of this year's gonna be interesting though, because my sister, she's graduating this year.
Yeah. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm curious to know what the grad ceremony is gonna be like, and if like what all that is gonna entail, you know?
Yeah, I mean, are they, because obviously, like, in these, and I always do this, in these unprecedented times, I wonder how they're going to handle that. That'll be interesting.
And knowing how Alberta is dealing with everything right now, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be, like, just family exclusive, or, I mean, maybe it's just students only, but...
That's what I'm thinking, because it's like you can't bring all these people over, you know, like that's unless like everything's back to normal. But I don't know. I'm obviously hoping for her because you know, hey, I didn't get to have my university graduation.
Yeah.
So that never happened, and I don't think it will ever happen. So, you know, life. But
yeah, it's.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
Okay.
That's my supervillain motivation.
It's like you're the Grinch, but for high school graduations. So you like try to steal everybody else's, and then like there's this whole story, and then it's like you find like friendship and love in the graduation, and then we all sit around and sing a Merry Christmas. Anyway.
I can imagine like that sort of like opening montage, like with the Grinch, like he's going around the village stealing the presents and stuff. Like instead of stealing presents, I'm just stealing like diplomas and like stealing like final like exam papers and stuff.
Like just and stealing like grad dresses that the girls get, and like stealing ties from the dudes in their suit jackets and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there like with a bulging sack of like as you're like tiptoeing on the school roof or whatever.
No, it's just me trying to shove it in the trunk of my car.
And the trunk won't close.
Yeah, like it's just too much. I'm like, oh, I'm just like rubbing my forehead for a while, like this isn't gonna fit.
You step back, you put your hands on your hips, and you just like you lean back, you look around, take a deep breath, and then you start going at it again.
Yeah, you have to look back and like verify like, no, it should fit. Like I'm trying to like convince myself like it'll fit. Or like, then like you have someone walking by like it's not gonna fit, dude. No, it'll fit.
Then you have to do that thing where you take everything out and just kind of put your hands on your hips again and just go, okay, well, if I put it in like, but then what if I do it like that, but how, like this, and then you just start like playing Tetris but with grad clothes.
Yeah. Maybe like eventually I strap it all onto the roof or something.
It's like Mr. Bean it.
Honestly, yeah. Like I don't think I identify with a character more than Mr. Bean.
Do tell me more.
I just like I have in my daily life, especially when I go outside, a lot of just weird, funny things happen to me.
Right.
And like I tell you about it too. Like, oh, I went for a walk and then like this weird thing happened, or like this weird like thing occurred or whatever. It's just I don't know. My life's full of adventure when I don't intend adventure to be there.
I know one source of adventure that you've had more than me in this situation was on planes. You seem to have more airplane adventures than me, and just kind of like rough travel experiences just out of like just pure circumstance.
Yeah, you're telling me. I have arguably some of the worst luck, and like it's only when I'm alone.
Yep.
So it's like if like we're on a flight together or something, like everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And you're like, Robert, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, they're on to us, man. You're
just like paranoid schizophrenic by that point.
Almost, yeah. Like I've had some strange ones. Although I will say that the last flight I did, oh man, I had the entire row to myself, and not just like the seats like in my row, like 1, 2, 3, like also in the sort of opposite side. So like basically the entire row, like 6 seats. I could have literally stretched out and laid like a bed if I wanted to.
Yeah, you could have.
I never had that. Every time I've been on a flight, it's always been like, I've usually had someone sitting beside me, or if not, like it's a 2-seater and like maybe there just happens to be no one beside me kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, oh man, that last time, beautiful. But you know what they didn't do? You know what I didn't get?
Your Mountain Dew.
My ginger ale and Mountain Dew.
Sorry, nope,
not that hogwash. Ginger ale, Canada Dry. Oh, I don't know. They got cheap. They don't offer it anymore.
No, well, it was also. I don't think they were offering it at the time of when you were flying.
Yeah, I know they weren't, but still. Still. To heck with the rules. Give me my ginger ale. I paid good money for this flight. So God help me, I will take us all down if I don't get my ginger ale.
You just start. You're like your next flight. You don't get your ginger ale, and you just stand up and you go, okay, I'm standing up to the authority. I'm standing up to the big man. Where the hell is my ginger ale?
I start like a union. Like the plane passengers union.
The plane
passengers. Our demands are simple.
Oh my god.
We won't prevail without ginger ale. That'll be our slogan.
We won't prevail without ginger ale.
Yeah, it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Anyways, you don't seem impressed. You don't seem like you're on board.
I'm sorry.
Get it? On board.
Okay.
Flight.
Go away.
I'm gonna hear that a lot today.
Chris has me intrigued. He says, I want to make a joke, but I'm not sure who would be offended by it. And yes, just say it, and if my mod doesn't approve of it, we'll just forget you ever said it, and we can move on.
Yeah, I don't think either of us would be offended if that's who is to be offended.
I know I'm a bit difficult to offend. Like, to genuinely offend, it's a bit difficult to do that for me. But, yeah, some people are easier offended than, say, others.
Easier.
Easily offended.
Imagine that being on, like, your resume. Like,
I'm easily offended.
Like, I'm good at programming. I worked at this place for a year. I'm easily offended. I'm a delight.
Oh my god, that... Oh,
oh my god.
That
too
is...
soon? Too
No,
soon?
Is that too soon?
It's hard to say.
I think I don't take any offense to it just because I don't... Like, 9/11, that's a big American thing. And it's just, I guess it just doesn't affect me, and it happened when I was like, what year did it happen in? Basically, I was a toddler, or like,
you were 1 year old.
Yeah, I was like, I was a baby when it happened, so I just don't have any sort of connection to it, so I'm fine with that bit of dark humor, like...
Yeah, I'm sort of iffy on it, personally. I remember, obviously I wasn't necessarily personally affected, but I do recall I was just old enough where, like, in, like, I think it was, like, preschool or something, or like kindergarten or whatever. I remember the teachers like all gathering together and said, like, you know, the World Trade Center, blah blah blah. So
yeah, no, that's yeah.
Yeah, so maybe too soon, but either way,
depends on who you ask. Is a too soon thing. Also because Leibstern says that Ty's eyes have, like, look kind of derpy. What do you think of them?
They look great. It's he's like, again, what I was hoping to go for with it was like these sort of like super excited, like happy, and like almost like starstruck, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, moi, perfect.
Okay, I just want to get your opinion on it.
Hey, you're doing awesome. Like, it's looking great.
I'm gonna try this with shines. If it doesn't work out, we're just gonna erase all of that.
That was always one of my, like, the difficult shapes that I could never draw was a star.
Nobody can see me covering it up with one hand. Okay, I'm gonna do the other eye too, just see how it looks. Yeah, no, but a star is one of the more difficult shapes to do, I think. Like, I don't think anybody can truly draw a perfect star without, like, help, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I knew people, like, who were, like, it's usually, like, the artsy kids in class. They always could. But the one that really always got me, the maple leaf.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know, like, you look at it and you think, like, you know, okay, like, it's got a lot of different edges, but simple enough, right? Like, I can't go wrong. But then you try to draw it and, like, oh no, oh dear.
Yeah, it's just
It's tough.
Yeah, no, it's deceptively easy, the maple leaf.
Also, Christy, you're fine, dude. Don't worry. You haven't offended any of us, so it's okay. But yeah, it's that maple leaf that just.
And see, and the ironic thing is too one of the reasons why our flag is the way it is is because they wanted it easy for kids to draw in school.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted it to be simple.
Like, it's one of the reasons. It wasn't the defining reason behind our flag, but it was like when they were bringing up mocks of it, there were... Okay, we're just gonna like, just kind of completely... What's the... whatever. We're gonna get distracted for a second here. Because,
okay,
like, there
sure.
was, like, one flag where it was, like, it was blue on either border to represent the two oceans in Canada.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So it's this guy, and then it had... Don't...
That's the whole thing.
Shut up. Like, the flag was gonna do that, and, like, the maple leaves would be kind of, like, here, like that.
Yeah.
Don't mind the maple, like, just... It's a doodle, bear with me. So it was, like, that was gonna be our flag. Like, that was one of the mocks for our flag.
Which is pretty close.
And then, like, another mock was, like, this, like, these being red. And then there was another one where it was basically just kind of like what the Ontario and Manitoba flag are, where it's, like, that with, like, the blue square up here, or, like, the Union Jack shit, I think it was.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, I can't. Anyway.
That's okay. You get the point across.
And then, like, there was another design over here, but I remember that being, like, the least favorite one. And then there was, like, 3 others, but they mostly based around this idea. And then there was one where they're like, hey, hold up, what if we did this? The 2 borders representing the oceans, and then just one maple leaf. Look at that. Flag.
It's pretty cute. It's a nice flag. I like it.
It's, you know what, I think it is one of the better, it's one of, this might be my bias, okay, but I think it is one of the better flags in the world.
You are ferociously Canadian.
But it's, like, it's simple, it's clean, it's easy to draw. Like, it's not like America where you gotta, like, fucking, like, okay, we're just reopening this. Okay, so it's like, okay, alright, kids, let's draw the American flag. Alright.
Oh,
Flag,
no.
and then it's like, okay, well, then we got, what do I start? Okay, now we gotta do the white, but then it's like, okay, but how many, hopefully I did that right. It's like, okay, but then you got, like, this sucker up here, and it's like, okay, but then, fuck, how many states are there? And you gotta go, okay, well, then just, okay, and then,
well, it's a nice round number how many there are, but...
like, it's just, it's too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort, I agree.
It's too much work. But again, I'm just ferociously Canadian and I have that bias. So
well, yeah, like you are aggressively Canadian.
But it's like there are other flags in the world that are, like, really cool, but it's like they're way too complicated to draw.
Yeah.
You know? Like the Welsh flag.
I was literally going to say the same thing.
That one has a dragon on it.
Yeah.
It's cool, but, like, that's not easy to draw. And it's not easy to replicate at all, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. So I agree.
So it's, you know, and then you got some which, like, the Australian and New Zealand flag, and I think there's, like, a few others that kind of follow the same pattern of, like, blue background with white stars on it, and then, like, Union Jack in the corner. But it's, like, different star patterns on them. And it's just like, okay, I guess.
Fun with flags.
Okay, Sheldon Cooper. Actually, I want to see. If I go over here.
Gotta go over there.
I'm gonna go over here. I'm just looking at the other one I did. Okay, yeah, that's alright. So I'm gonna have it like this because I want it to be, like, opposites. Because there's this one that I did, which has him on this side. So if I do this one where he's on this side, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So there's like an opposite. Maybe the background, like instead of a blue, it's like a pink, maybe, or something, like a almost reddish.
Sure, I'll finish coloring Ty.
Yeah, no, I'm just again throwing ideas, throwing ideas.
And then yeah, we'll experiment with the background colors, because that's the thing with Ty. He has like a very neutral color scheme, which works really well with the with working with other colors.
That's a funny way of saying my character design is awesome.
Yeah, well, it's just he has very natural colors, so
Yeah.
sorry, phlegmy.
Hi, Flemmy.
That's something people want to hear on stream, right? You just coughing up phlegm.
Some people pay good money for that.
Okay, this isn't OnlyFans though.
Only Twitch.
This is only Twitch. Where I got like, okay, in my mind there are 3 like cheat colors. And that's, well, 4, I don't know, whatever. It's gray, brown. Okay, why isn't it coloring? Okay, cool. Oh, because I'm an idiot. That's why.
You got this selection on.
No, it was. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, I have layering right. You got brown, gray, white, and black. Those are all cheat colors to me, because almost every color can work. Almost, if not every color, can work with those 4. You know.
Yeah.
Like, really, I think the only color you'd really have to match, and like I would really have to kind of match and complement, is his eyeballs. In this.
Damn eyeballs, though.
Damn eyeballs, though. So. And then,
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I went for with the character, like when I made it, because I totally knew what I was doing when I made him.
Yeah, no.
Sure. Is like I tried to make it like more life, like real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's more like akin to a real deer in that sense.
He's a real boy.
What a movie. Pinocchio was an interesting movie.
It's wild, yeah.
my favorite scene. Pinocchio spoilers, by the way.
Well, it's like 50 years old. I think if there's any spoilers now, that's on them.
Like, yeah, it is a total fever dream. And my favorite scene is when, like, this is like right after like they just escaped Monstro. They like went through that little cave thing, and Pinocchio was just straight up dead. He's like face down in like this little pond of water, and just like like probably the only time in Disney movies where there was like a dead body on screen.
And like the worst thing is like they fade to black. Like, I kid you not, they fade to black and like the music kind of like settles down and stops. Like, what? Is he dead?
It kills me every time. Every time I see it, just like they cut to him just face down, and then it's just uncomfortable. Like it holds it for an uncomfortable amount of time, and then just fades to black, and then it's just like, oh, I guess like Pinocchio just straight up died. Then I guess okay.
We're terrible for laughing about it too. There you go.
I guess, but
yeah, it's funny though. Like it's just like it's just weird timing and like weird the way they did it.
It's just really weird, and I think that's where I like the humor comes. Like that's where I get the humor for it anyway. Where it's just like Pinocchio, a wild ride.
I do wonder though if that like maybe there was like an alternate ending or something, like Pinocchio wasn't supposed to make it, and that just kind of like got left in because they're like, well, we can still keep that, it still makes sense. I wonder.
Well, why don't you look it up?
No,
well,
you can't make me.
Fine, then don't.
It'll be a mystery forever.
You'll never get to know.
I'll never get to know.
Because you won't look it up. That's your problem.
That's our problem.
That's our problem. And like one movie that I know, have you seen this one recently, Alice in Wonderland? I don't think you have.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. That one, as a kid growing up, I was like my memory of it wasn't as trippy like until I watched it recently. And then I was like, Jesus hell, what is this movie?
I mean, but at least with that movie, like, it is supposed to be like a sort of like a wild trip kind of thing.
Yeah, it is, but it's like, geez, my memory of it just, I don't know, like, it was, whoa. I just didn't remember it being as trippy as it actually was, you know?
Yeah. So, that's fair. You know, it's interesting going back to like old shows or old movies that as a kid you saw, but then haven't seen for years, come back to it as an adult. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like I was scared of that, or I missed that, or you know. Oh, there was one movie I have to see if I can find the title. Anyways, what were you saying? Sorry.
Well, no, I was just saying because as a kid, I was like afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was afraid of any movie. Right? So now it's really fun going back to those movies as an adult and going, wow, what the hell was I scared of? These are such a fun time. Like, I was terrified of Toy Story and Finding Nemo. And I rewatched those recently. I'm like, wow, these are actually really funny and really good movies. What the hell was I on?
Man, that first Toy Story, though, is a bit trippy with, like that was sort of, like, a real, one of the, like, the first few steps in, like, that sort of 3D, like, CGI, like, animation, right?
Yeah, it was.
And it was stiff and awkward and frankly creepy.
Well, yeah, but I guess watching it now, like, I can appreciate the small, like, details of, like, the toys when they blink.
Yeah.
There's, like, they blink once at a time, like, they're not synchronized.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a cool detail that I could see, like, living toys doing, you know, like, if that was an actual thing. Right? And it was, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen it somewhat recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, I was surprised. For me, at least, it didn't hold up. At least, like, the animation stuff. Like, the story's great.
Oh, God, no. The animation, of course, isn't gonna hold up.
Yeah, which is fine. It, you know, you don't expect it to. It's a bit old now. But, yeah, wow. Interesting.
Well, and I think that's the thing with anything CGI or 3D animated. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't have the same sort of timelessness as, say, 2D animation.
Oh, goodness, no. Not at all.
Because technology in that sense is always going to be outbeating itself, and it's less of I'm not saying that it's not an art form at all, but it's less of, it's more of a proving how good technology is and what we can do with technology. But when, like, our technology is getting better, it's like, well, like, CG animation is going to get better, and all, like, 3D modeling, that's all going to get better with that. So when you look at older CG stuff, it's going to show its age more. Like, I rewatched Tangled not too long ago, and I was like, wow, yeah, this one, it's starting to show its age a bit, and it was released in, 2010? And it still looks really good, all things considering, but I'm like, with comparing it to what Disney is doing now with their movies, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like, you can notice that, like, it's just not quite at the sort of current standard.
Yeah.
That you expect. And it's like, it's not in, like, major details, but, like, it's just little things that you go, oh, wait a minute, that looked a little stiff, or oh, wait a minute, you know, that didn't look quite right.
Yeah, and it's just, like, with the hair strands, or with, like, in the shadows and the lighting, it's a bit, right? And then it's just, I think that's just the curse, though, when it comes to 3D animating, though. It's gonna show its age more than 2D, and that's where I guess I hold a deeper appreciation for 2D in that sense. Not to say that I hate all 3D animation and all of it should, like, go away. It's more like,
you heard it here first. She hates all 3D animation.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I said. But more often than not, when I'm gonna go back and watch an old movie, more often than not maybe going to want to lean towards, like, the 2D one, just because I know how well it holds up better. Like, I think Princess and the Frog came out like maybe a year or two before Tangled. I could be wrong with that, but basically it's not, the age difference between those two movies aren't different, and in my opinion, visually, Princess and the Frog holds up much better just because it is 2D animated. Yeah. And I feel like that one's gonna, in a visual standpoint, is gonna outlive Tangled in that regard, right? But
oh, for sure, and like I think it would too. Totally agree.
But that's just a theory.
No, it's not. It's an opinion.
A game theory. Thanks for watching.
God, I feel sick.
No.
It's turning out really well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else I should add to him, or?
Besides lasers, no, I think honestly. Oh, you know what? There is one thing.
What?
But it's only a maybe. Only a possibility. The amulet.
I talked to you about this before.
I know you mentioned it. I know you did. Again, if it doesn't work, hey, that's fine. It doesn't need to be there.
There's the lasers, by the way.
Thank you. Oh, beautiful. See, that's what it's gonna be. That's gonna bring people into the video.
Yeah, that's what's gonna do it. Wait, I need to make this brighter.
Yeah, like if you're ever wondering like how to get like a lot of views on YouTube, it's not with good art. It's not with like good videos. It's with laser eyes.
It's laser eyeballs. So basically,
that's all it is.
If you have Superman in your title card, you're good to go.
Practically just like a cash cow at that point.
And Superman is the best superhero. Never mind. I'm sorry. Let's move on from that because I don't have good enough superhero knowledge to go into that kind of conversation.
Neither of us do. I was gonna just start arguing with you just for the sake of it, without anything to back it up. Be like, no.
Two people who don't know what they're talking about.
Hey, there's a series right there. Two people argue about things they have no knowledge on,
and just gradually piss the other people off who do know. Like,
no, Batman's better. He's not just some rich trust fund baby.
Like, the one thing I do see though is where people, it's like, oh, I want to be Batman. If I had a choice between Superman and Batman, I want to be Batman. And somebody brought up a very good point of why would you want to be a orphaned, unstable adult who dresses up in a bat costume,
who dresses up in dark spandex every night,
and lives in a cave and is just super insecure and has absolutely no superpowers. Sure, he's rich, but like, with all the mental and emotional baggage with that, I think I would rather be Superman.
Yeah, like, and the thing is you could be Superman and have all the perks of being Batman at the same time.
The perks of being an orphan.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, you totally could.
You could be Superman and be an orphaned.
Yeah, your dreams can be real, you know. It's good to have ambition.
You said it.
Actually, you mentioned like earlier in the chat, like what your favorite superpower would be, and you said like shape-shifting.
Yeah.
Kind of going in line with like Superman. Mine would totally be flying.
Yeah.
That like I couldn't think of something more fun and more awesome than being able to fly.
But then here's the thing with shape-shifting for me. If I could shapeshift, I could fly. I could breathe underwater. Ooh. I can dig underground. I can climb trees like nobody's business. Like I would have a whole arsenal of abilities at my disposure.
That is true. I guess you're right.
See, and then you can turn into different kinds of birds and animals of flight for like the type of flying that you want to do in that moment. You know? Yeah. So if I say need to go long distances, but like I don't want to buy a plane ticket. I'm just gonna do it myself. I would turn into a bird that is more built and suited for long flights.
You'd be a Canada goose.
I'd be Canada goose or a crane, because cranes are smart creatures and they just fly all the way up into the airstream, and then they just rest with their wings open, and they just let the airstream take them. Or like
Geese hate this one simple weird trick.
Click now. But then it's like, if say you wanted to fly, like if you needed speed, right? Well, then I would turn into a bird that was more built for flying with speed. Or say I needed more control with how I was flying, I would fly into an animal that would turn into an animal that was more built for control. Like, it's, shapeshifting is where it's at. But then even
I got you. Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that.
Like, and then I can also turn into like a fish, or like an underwater creature that won't easily get eaten, and and I can travel and I could explore the depths of the water and not have to worry about air, or not have to worry about it for a long period of time if I choose dolphin or any sort of whale.
I guess you could say you'd have a whale of a time.
Or I would have a porpoise.
Porpoise life.
I have a porpoise life.
We both suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
We both suck.
Anyway. But apparently, Vayandas, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, says that we all know that the only superhero is Captain Canuck. Captain Canuck.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
Nor do I.
Bear with me. I think he's supposed to be kind of like a parallel to Captain America, but like Canada. But joke's on us, he sucks.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I mean, because my stepdad, he's a big superhero and comic book fan. So I pointed it out when we were at a convention one time. I was like, hey, look, there's like a Captain Canada, but he's like Captain Canuck. That's cool. Do you know about him? He's like, yeah, he sucks. I was like, oh, okay.
It's a sore spot.
I was like, oh, well, I guess I learned that Captain Canuck isn't exactly the best superhero for Canada, but all right.
He's the hero we deserve.
I guess. Wait, but Canada doesn't suck.
No. No.
Do we have our problems? Yes.
We have our problems, yeah.
But, like, are we America bad?
Are we America bad?
Like, come on now. Like, come on.
Yeah. Also, I have to announce this. Stone Mason is here.
Oh. Hey, Irby. Oh,
gentleman with the coolest last name.
Stone Mason.
It's honestly like the coolest last name, I swear. Like, I don't know what else. Like, I wish I had that as my last name. Hey, and I like my last name.
Yeah, you have a stoic. You have just a stoic name.
My last name is awesome, like, but I would kill to have it be Mason. Like, that is awesome, because then I could be Stone Mason, or I could be like Rock Mason, like Stone Mason's like, you know, scrappy sidekick. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
I don't know if it'll catch on, but still.
No. Ty's last name reminds me of my hometown, says Scott.
It might actually, believe it or not. It might be named might be because of the hometown or whatever, so, or close to it. It's because of a town name. Like, that's how a lot of these like last names were kind of made, I guess.
I thought it was like what the family, well, it represented what the family did. I thought that's what that was. Unless,
yeah, like, we were balling.
Unless
that's
anyway,
what we did.
Like, unless your family came from like a family of lords or something like that, where it's like the name, you know, if that makes sense.
It's the name of a place. Like, we have like my grandfather did like a whole like check on the history kind of thing. And it's our family name comes from like, I think like a village or something in Scotland.
Well, yeah, but that, I guess what I'm saying though is when, like with last names, they're like, from, again, what I heard, it was like came from like, say, your family's profession, or whatever. So if yours came from like a family, like from a town, then my suspicion, my hunch would be, say, like your family were like lords, or like your family, you came from a very important family.
That took a long time,
I guess.
to say.
Okay, it takes me a long time to say shit, so bear
It's
with
okay.
me. So, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? That's my theory.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's got to be something to it. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, you can go visit like a historian, and maybe they could tell you, but
Yeah, maybe. Never really worried about it too much.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's interesting.
Is that a good background?
That is an awesome background.
Cool.
Yeah, I actually do. I love it. It's I like that sort of like peach / sunset sort of like coloring. I love that. That honestly, like that is
All right. Now I'm gonna look at Pony Life PNGs.
Yeah.
What one did you want on there? Did it matter?
Oh, I can check. I don't have anyone in particular, but as long as it's like high quality enough.
As long as it's a high quality transparent PNG.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's this one of Fluttershy, because we used Twilight last time.
We did, yeah. Fluttershy won't stand out with the background.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's see. Rarity would work. Pinkie Pie would be good too. That would work.
I'll use this one of Rarity.
Okay. I think I know which one it is, because like there aren't, when making the video, right, I have to get all these assets, and there aren't very many for Pony Life because it's obviously like it's not as popular and
It's
it
not as
hasn't
popular,
had.
it's new.
Yeah, it's new, so like fans haven't made anything. Yeah, I know exactly. So it's I have to admit it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. And it's always, this is why like sometimes I won't even make a video on a topic because I just can't find assets for it. Like I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know in the past like I've had video ideas that I never went through because I don't know like what to put in the video.
That's an odd roadblock.
It's a weird one, but like it's true. Like if you don't have the assets to make the video, then it's really hard to make the video unless you're like a really talented artist or something, which of course I am, but no, I'm not.
No, you're a decent artist, monsieur.
I'm okay. I think it's because like I've seen a lot of artwork in the community in my day, so like I know what should look good. So like I know to try to like do certain things to make it look good, but I don't think I'm a good artist.
But you are.
Well, thank you.
Rainbow Dash. Would she be good?
Actually, she'd be great. If I could get her character on, yeah, that'd be better.
So we're gonna try that one because my issue here is because I need a transparent PNG, because there we go, because that way I can shrink that down. That's what we want.
Oh, I love it when you have like an asset picture like that and it's way too big. It's just like, oh yeah, this won't be pixelated. Oh yeah.
There. And then we're gonna do actually we're gonna go like this, and then we're gonna not invert, we're going to increment. So how are you doing, chat?
Actually, Irvi has an interesting question.
Oh, okay.
So what is the safest country for LGBTQ then? Sorry, there was a question before that. Excuse me. So Libestern said, plus the second safest country for LGBTQ people in the world. Must be great for them to walk around with their partner holding hands without feeling scared and whatnot. And that's talking about Canada. And like I have to admit, like we are really I think, good that way.
No, and like I agree. Like I haven't really seen any bigotry in Canada, and especially since I'm from like the province that would probably I'd expect to see the most of it,
Yeah.
and like the worst of it, because like I like to call Canada just like the like not Canada, Alberta, the Canadian Texas, but better.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
Poor Texas. I mean, oh my goodness, they just got roasted
come on,
over the fire.
come on, it's Texas.
I know a lot of really nice people from Texas.
Well, yeah, okay, nice
I will
people.
defend their honor.
Nice people from Texas versus like the stereotype in general Texas thing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah,
know
'cause
what you mean.
they make Texas a good name, but everybody else just kind of goes, "Huh, you what, fam?" And then just like, "Oh, well." So generally, Canada, I feel, is one of the better places in the world to say it's the best. Maybe not, because I'm sure there'd be like somewhere else it's like, yeah, no, they're actually the best. Because I think there's this illusion that Canada is much better than it actually is.
Yeah.
In some
like
cases.
a lot of people praise Canada online, and it's just like, oh no, sweet summer child.
But it's like, to be fair, though, it's not the worst. It's just, oh man.
Like, I guess that's the thing. Like, things can always be better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to give me like straight up like 3 hours, I could talk all day about like my issues and what what I think needs to be changed. But we're not going to do that here. That'll be the after hours show.
Right.
No. Also, really loving what you're doing with the thumbnail. I love that.
Anything else I should really add or do or change?
No, that honestly, 10 out of 10. Like, I think you've nailed it.
So you'd say this is done, or?
I'd say this is done. Besides the laser eyes.
Sorry.
It's okay. But no, that's why you're head of marketing. But
right.
No, that's perfect. Like, seriously, 10 out of 10. It's done.
Well, I think that's all for what I want to do here, but
Okay.
I don't want to end the stream, so I don't want to end it yet. But
Actually, I was kind of curious. What were you drawing on the other thing? I think you were drawing maple, or
yeah. Well, it was just like a warm up sketch, just to get myself in the groove. So
that was a warm up sketch.
I deleted it, but
oh my goodness, that's a warm up sketch. You see, that's how you know like you're talking with a good artist. Is that like they're sort of like warm up sketches, and they're like, oh, I was just like doodling this on my napkin. Like, it's incredible.
Well, some days are better than others, to be fair. Like, I
True.
think when I was first starting to draw this, or it was like another piece with my character Annie, and I just had another thing open, and I was trying to do warm up sketches. I was like, nope, all of this is poo-poo.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of those days too when I'm drawing. Like you think, I think it's weird because it's like for me, I have those points, and like I have the most trouble when I am like, I have an idea in my head of what I want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in saying, I want to draw this. And I've got a picture in my head going, I need to do this.
Whoa.
But
sorry, go on.
Go on. But yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. It's I've been interrupted. I don't remember what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm honored because Viandas, I hope I said that right. He donated $7.82. So I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Anyway, you were saying?
Okay, I remembered. So usually when I go into making art with an idea in my head, that's when I end up like having the worst performance. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is because like I've set like an expectation.
Yeah.
That like, because in my head I can think of some awesome art in my head. I can't draw it, but I can think of some awesome things.
Yeah, I think I was in I'm in that same boat too. Where it's just like, there's only the one time that I had an idea in my head and I successfully like put it out onto like on paper, so to speak. And that was this guy here. Like I was
This
able
guy.
yeah, so and when it shows up on stream, so like this is probably the only time that I had an idea and then I put it out and it was like, oh well damn, and like that felt really good. It felt really good to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, I remember like I remember you telling me like must have been like when you just started drawing it or something. You're like, I've got an idea, and I'm like, okay, like what's your idea? And you're just like, I forget what you said exactly, but you're like, I'm just paraphrasing, but you're like, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then like you end up making this. I'm like, whoa, like that way out of left field, but damn,
like it's something that but this piece really signifies how much like the power of music has over like how I draw sometimes and what I draw, because this one I listened to like the same 2 or 3 minute song on like almost repeat and I was like, and it fueled this piece and I was like, okay, cool, and now here it is, and I'm just like, I feel like it's one of my better pieces out there.
I think honestly, like if I had to say, and like obviously this may be a bit presumptuous, and I'll actually ask you this question.
Yes.
I think this is your magnum opus, at least right now. Obviously, you know, you'll make even better stuff going forward. But yeah. Now my question to you is, what do you think your magnum opus is for art? Like what is your best piece that you say, I've never done anything better before or since?
I think I would have to say it'd be a tie between two pieces. Okay. But one, you know what? One coming in a close second. I have to go into my commission file. So this one, for the longest time, I felt like was my magnum opus.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
And I feel like I've just been struggling to get that same sort of value and just same sort of effect in an art piece since. And just like, it was a really good piece, and there was only one other piece that I've done that I feel could come close to it, and it was, it's this sucker.
It's this sucker.
Actually, I'll bring up this one. So when it pops up on the screen, like, I feel like I did really good with this one. Do I feel
this is a more recent one, too.
Yeah. I did this one a few months back. But, like, I think these two are tied in a way.
Maybe I think the newest one is better, but I think that's just because it's, like, you obviously have, like, more years of experience and, like, it's a lot more, like, polished and...
Yeah, it's...
That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Like, they're both awesome, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think these two have been my best ones to date. And then this one is pretty up there, but I think this one's like maybe a third place one, I guess.
It's very different. I think that makes it hard to place.
Yeah.
So like, how do you compare like, you know, that one, like all of these together when like they can be so wildly different?
Yeah. And then here's this one that I was pretty proud of. I haven't formally introduced her yet to on like Twitters and stuff yet, but this is like my new character. This is Annie. And I really like how I did human anatomy for once in this one. I was like, well, damn, man. And now I got this work in progress. I'm sure Twitch will allow it. It's just kind of lewd, but it's like this one.
No, it's fine.
Well, like, I'm able to do this now, and like this one that is a work in progress with my character and Spirit's character Kevin. I was like, wow, damn, I can.
Yeah, this was really impressive to me.
Like, it's good stuff.
Like low key, I think this is some of your best work. Like this piece right here.
And it's like, ugh. It makes me happy.
I'm telling you, like you've been making some serious strides lately.
I can draw hands decently now. Are these perfect?
Yeah, you can.
God, no. But like they're better than what I could have done beforehand, you know?
beforehand.
So
yeah, no, like I have to say, like you've been, especially lately, you've been really kicking some booty with your art.
I've been kicking booty.
Yeah, like it's just you've been on a tear,
I've been on a tear.
a renaissance, if you will.
I've been on a renaissance. Anyway. So, yeah, well, I exported this now. I guess I can send it to you.
Yep, I will. I will take that, and I will probably render the video after the stream, and then that will be something uploaded tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow,
Ooh.
I guess, folks, tomorrow watch out for on Tyandaga's channel, for his video coming up, and he has another video before this one. He's released where they're kind of supposed to go hand in hand with each other. Am I right with saying that?
Yeah. So okay, wow, you head of marketing right here. Yeah, so I have 2 videos. Obviously, the one that I've uploaded, which is what I hate about Pony Life, and then this one coming up, which is what I like about Pony Life, and try to give it try to be fair. Like, here's what I didn't like, and then another video, here's what I like. So I like to think I'm being quite fair with it. I like to think I'm being quite good. But yeah, it should be fun. I think people will like it. I'm kind of curious to see what people say. So.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, Irvi. Thank you for that very kind donation.
Stone Mason.
I appreciate everybody who's. Oh, thank you so much. It means so much that you guys are donating to me. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Actually, that's the one thing. Your live stream doesn't have Christmas lights.
I'm sorry. Is that a disappointment?
No, it's not.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I remember this is back when I used to stream. It was like around Christmas. I actually took the time to make like a little gift Christmas lights. Mm-hmm. And I thought they were really adorable. Yeah,
and you were good with making you're good with making stream overlays, I think, and you can it's good. You make good stuff.
Thank you.
Before I
also
go on, yes.
I noticed that Master Code is in the chat.
Sup, Master Code pal?
Sup?
What's up?
What's up?
What do?
Yeah, it's well, what do you want to do? This is your stream.
Well, I'm supposed to be drawing. But I finished.
You finished, yeah. You did it quick too.
Well, it's because I had the sketch already done, and the sketch always takes up the most time.
Oh, no question.
Oh, Irvi. Joyeux Noël à toi aussi. I hope I didn't just do really bad French there. Well, he said Joyeux Noël, Maple. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to
Je ne parle pas français. That's my line.
I was having this conversation with my one Overwatch friend, where she's like, because I in school I was part of the French immersion program, and for those of you who don't really know what that entails, it meant I did all of my classes in French, and I was taught French to be a secondary language since kindergarten, and in some cases while I was growing up I just straight up forgot some English words because I was just so I was so conditioned in French first than English.
Yeah, it's a common program in Canada.
Yes.
Almost every public school certainly will have a French immersion program where a lot of your classes are in French. So just explaining it a bit for Americans maybe that don't have a similar thing. So
yeah. So,
but anyways, Sarah, go ahead.
With that, I was in this the French immersion program for since 8th grade, and then I moved. To which when we were moving, we couldn't find any other French immersion schools or programs. We were like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just not going to be in French anymore. But then, since then, my French, this is kind of a dark analogy, but I think it fits. My French has been diagnosed with cancer. Oh. And it's slowly dying in that sense, where it's just because I don't speak it that often, if ever. And it's one thing that if I could go back and learn it again, and at one point in my life I do kind of want to revive it and cure it from its ailment. So that's so. Yeah, I just want to learn French again.
No, and you're right. Like that, and that's something like I saw this online on like a little forum thread where people were saying like, oh, you know, come to Quebec, right? Like it's cheap to live here, and like there's lots of jobs and all that. You know, it's quite good to live here. And then of course the common complaint is like, but I have to learn French. And I get it, because like it's hard to learn a language when you're not surrounded by it. So like for me, if I were to say, all right, I'm learning French, right? And I took it in class for like 8 years. So I know a bit of it. I can read it somewhat, but it's really difficult when nobody around you speaks it. It's really difficult when there's no signs, there's no nothing, there is no French around you. That's really, really tough. So it's hard to learn a language when you don't have like that kind of exposure. But then again, like, would it be awesome to learn? Absolutely. Boy, it's tough.
Yeah, that's where I think if I went back to learn it, to relearn it, I think I would have an easier time, just because I do already have kind of like most of it would just be reminding me of stuff and be like, hey, you do things like this, and be like, oh, right. Or it's like, oh, okay, I know this word is this. I'm like, oh, right. So I feel like I have that foundation already. It just kind of needs to be revived, so to speak.
You know what I hated a lot about French?
What?
That like this is, of course, a lot of languages are like this, but that like every object and everything has like a gender.
I think Spanish is the same way.
A lot of Latin languages are, but
yeah.
like, why is my water bottle a dude? Why is my desk a girl? Like, who decided this, and why should I care? But it's really important, apparently.
Well, yeah, because that way you know how to conjugate verbs.
Oh, the conjugating verbs. That was like my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Because that's all you do in class. It's like, okay, time to learn these verbs. And you're just throwing verb after verb and like all these different endings and stuff. And like, oh, this one is done differently. Like, why?
French has its own sort of like conjugation dictionary. And I still have mine in my bookcase. Mm-hmm. It's called the Becherel. And it's just...
It's called bullshit.
It's exclusively for conjugating verbs.
Yeah.
And the
I remember I had one too. I forget what it was called, but I had like a book that helps you with that.
I can almost guarantee it was the Becherel.
It probably was, yeah. Oh man, but I've told you this, of course, like where I used to be like one of the worst French students.
Yes.
Where like I was notorious for like doing like oral presentations in English. Mm-hmm. And getting away with it because technically, like, the rubric didn't say that I couldn't speak English. Uh-huh. So I remember having to argue with that with my teacher. She's like, you didn't speak French. I'm like, look, I think you're great. You're doing a great job. I know. I'm being a real jerk here. But technically, there's nothing saying I can't do this in English. The rubric's changed now because of me, but I got away with it once, and it worked. It was great.
Well, didn't you?
But don't do that.
Well, and didn't you have, like, when you were back in French, your teacher was like, what are you doing back here? You hated this. Yeah,
great question. Yeah, so typically in Canada, at least in Ontario, you have to take French classes in public school up until it's about 9th grade. After 9th grade, you can choose not to take it anymore. Like, it's up to you. But my parents wanted me to take French. So I did, and I remember going back in 11th grade, so I did 10th grade French, and then in 11th grade French, again, after coming off of a year where I was obviously like the worst in the class by far, and I clearly didn't care for it. I remember walking into the classroom, and my teacher, like, again, sweetest lady you'd ever meet, she says, Robert, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. Like, she's like, you shouldn't be here. And I said, like, oh, I'm signed up for this class. She's like, why? And I'm like, you know what? Great question. I don't know why. So yeah, it was that was funny. Well, again, like I had a good time. Like it was fun enough, and like I wasn't like a jerk or anything. Like I didn't like hold up the rest of the class. But
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm not proud of it.
you knew why you had to be in the class, and that's because your parents were like, you're learning a second language, or
Yeah.
like, God help us.
Yeah, that it was silly, but you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess. I mean, but then again, that being said, I can somewhat read it. Like, as long as the sentences are simple enough, I can read it and at least understand roughly what's being said. So I guess in the end, I did learn something over 8 years of classes. Goodness, not a whole lot. I couldn't speak it, and if you were to talk to me in French, I would be completely lost. But if given enough time just to sort of like look at text and go, okay, I can understand it somewhat, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was talking with my one friend where this whole, I guess, conversation is kind of started from. But I have the PS2 copy of Final Fantasy X too, and therefore it has manuals. And in Canada, all of our games or anything that has a manual has one in English and one in French.
Yeah.
Everything. So I opened up my Final Fantasy X-2 copy, and I found the Canadian French manual for it. And I had, like, it has the entire history of Final Fantasy X in it, and I almost read it all to him in French. And here's the thing. I can read French, but whether I, one, understand it completely, or two, if I can translate it properly, are two completely different things. Now, and like, just two issues on their own. However, I can read it all out loud if I needed to. But I won't do that now because that wouldn't be very entertaining, and I wouldn't be surprised if people would just click off if I just started speaking French for a good minute or two.
That would be an exercise in torture.
Yeah. And not just for me, but for everybody else.
For all of us here at Mapleicious Industries.
But
yeah.
Yeah. I hate how fast I finished this piece longer. Like, it finished this piece sooner than I thought I was going to.
Well, that's just the way it is sometimes. And again, like, we have been on, we've been live for about an hour and a half too.
Yeah, but it's...
So.
I mean, I don't feel like it's come to its natural end yet.
No, it hasn't. No, I agree. It's like, you sort of go like, okay, you know, I've got this whole day planned, and then it only lasts for like a little bit, and you're like, oh, shoot, what do I do now?
It's like, oh, all right, I guess.
Oh, we have a question for Mapleicious.
Yes.
So the question is what is your favorite Harry Potter quote?
Because I don't remember many. Bear with me here. Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
That's actually a great one. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like some like awesome Snape quotes. I'll have to Google it maybe. Because there's like a couple scenes, but I just don't quite remember what was said.
Like, I think it's just because that line in the movie is said so much more aggressively than it is in the books, and I know that was like one of my mom's prime complaints about it, because she loved the books, and she's like, oh, I hate the new Dumbledore. I hate it. Why is he's supposed to be calm? Why is he so aggressive and mean? And I'm like, okay, Mom. All right, Mom. Whatever you say, Mom. But
everyone's got their opinions, man.
yes. Like, that's just my opinion, man.
That's just like my opinion, dude. Like, cha.
Like, cha, dude. But I guess as Ty's thinking of his answer to that,
I'm Googling it and I'm not getting anywhere. This is not going well.
Well, as he's on that venture, any other questions or experiences you would like to share with us, please do, because I think we are just gonna kind of chat for a bit until everything kind of reaches its natural end, I think.
Yeah, we're taking questions.
Give us questions. The deep, the gritty, the light, the funny, the...
Like, I'll even take homework questions at this point.
He will, I won't.
No, don't give me homework questions, though.
Elania, well, whatever. Anyway.
They said to be called, like, Lala.
Okay, so, Lala. Okay, so
yeah.
Lala says, my English teacher said I should take French, but I didn't because I never took French. My family don't like French, and I don't know why. See, this is a funny one. because my stepsister, her stepdad, like, just, like, hates French and hates French people and hates French culture, and it was just like, she's there going like, is that
Brutal.
is that racist? Like, he's just being so cruel and crude to them, and like it's like, I just kind of blink and go, pardon? There's somebody who's like culturally, is it called cultural racism? Because like, she started to sing happy birthday to in French for him, because it means she's in the French immersion program and she likes to speak French, so that's what she was doing. And he's like, basically told her to shut up and like get out.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, oh my, like, dude, what is your problem? What did the French people ever do to you? Like, that's such an odd one to hear, and like in this day and age of like racism. Not to say that there's better forms of it or there's a preference for it, but it's like, it was a weird one. It was a weird one to hear.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never quite heard that before, but I guess there's a first for everything.
Yep. There is a first for everything, and it's conflicting for me. Okay, I'm just looking at the questions.
What's your opinion on fan art?
What's my opinion on fan art? As long as it's yours, and as long as like as long as it's yours, so like, don't steal, I'm fine with it. And then depending if, say, you're doing fan art of real people, and if it's like ship art or whatever, making sure that the people who are like, the real people who are involved are okay with it.
Yes.
And like, not making it weird, or but if it's, say, with like characters or like a big franchises or whatever, you do you, as long as it's not like hurtful in any way, shape, or form, and you're being like conscious of everything, because, you know, in the end, most people, I think, in today's day and age, people get into doing artwork because they do fan art first, and I find a beauty in that, you know.
Absolutely.
Everybody has their original, like, has their like ground zero of, yeah, I started doing fan art for this, and now I'm doing this, you know. And that could be,
yeah, like,
that
go
could
ahead,
be,
sorry.
well, just to finish it, that could be said in any context, be it drawing or music or any art form for that matter, right?
Yeah.
So what were you gonna say?
Well, yeah, like, and just kind of continuing on with it, like, I've always loved fan art, right? And I've had, over the years, a lot of people make a lot of awesome fan art for my character and whatnot. And I've always had like an open policy sort of thing with Ty and the character and whatnot. Like, if you want to use him in art, you know, go right ahead, right? And like, you really don't even have to ask in most cases. But like, again, that policy, while that does lead to more people making more fan art, that does also lead to some issues too. And like, I've seen some, let's just say, interesting pieces of artwork.
You can say porn.
Well, I've seen that, yeah. Like, but then like, I've also seen like things like with shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, it can get definitely really uncomfortable. So in my opinion, it's always good just to ask and say like, hey, you know, I really like your stuff, or whatever have you. I want to make some art. You know, I'm usually going to say, like, I'm not going to say no, but it's usually good to ask, especially with the shipping, as you mentioned. Like, it's good to ask.
Well, yeah, and because some people, they do separate their character, like their online personas, and separating themselves in their online personas, but then you also get where they are people are very involved with who they are online and who they are personally, right? So, yeah. Moral of the story is just ask.
Yeah, like, it's really, it can be really uncomfortable at times. I do recall like this one time where there was this is when I was live streaming, and there was like this really uncomfortable ship art that was made like the morning of a live stream, and I was going to be doing a live stream with the person who was also in the ship art. And like, we actually had to bring it up because like the guy was also like in the chat in the stream, and like, we basically said like, yeah, just ask, because like, we would have told you like, yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, you know, it's always just good to ask. Like, that's kind of like the key. But most times, like, most people are just going to be like, assuming you're just making art for whatever, like, it's not like anything too weird, then most people will be cool with it.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on.
Clarky asks, what's your favorite dinosaur or dinosaurs?
I've always been impartial to T-Rex. Just the stubby little arms I can't get enough of. I don't know what it is.
A classic.
Yeah, a classic too.
For me, growing up, it was always the Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus, the ones with the really long necks. Because I was a big fan of giraffes too as a kid. So anything with like that was stupidly tall, I was like, that's my favorite animal.
Hey, wait a minute! I'm stupidly tall.
And you're my favorite animal.
There we go. Wow.
What was it? Oh yeah, and now in like recent days, I guess I guess I would have to say the Spinosaurus. Is that what it is? Spinosaurus, I think, is up there now. For a favorite. So I just think they're neat. But I'm not much of a dinosaur person to go into the whys and whats and...
Yeah, like I'm not either. Like I don't know much about them. I do know that from what I've heard is apparently a lot of dinosaurs were actually like feathered.
Yeah.
And we're only kind of just discovering that now. That like almost like all these dinosaurs that we thought were just more like lizards are more like feathered and whatnot, almost more bird-like than anything.
Well, yeah, because
so it's interesting.
They're finding that more birds have more things in common with dinosaurs than, say, your typical lizard, right? But
yeah,
so that's my favorite dinosaur. And then Noah asks, who do you ship in My Little Pony?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, it's a good question, but it's like the problem is like I've never been too big on the show. Like I like it, I watch the episodes, but like I'm not like a major super fan. So it's like, who do you ship? And like, oh god, I don't know. I have to think about that. Like I've never really given it a lot of thought. Do you have one?
Well, I kind of fallen out of like who I ship and what, like where I stand when it comes to all that.
Yeah.
So just trying to think. I think the one I guess I would have to say I ship the most would have to be maybe Pinky and Cheese.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
And I think with that, it's just because I think ignoring the ones that actually were like kind of pre-established is like, yeah, no, these are a couple. We don't really get to see like them kind of going towards that. Or I think with Pinky and Cheese, they had the most of that leading up to, like, spoiler alert, leading up to the ending, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And like it's been shown that they have like a decent chemistry together, right? So I think I'd have to say that would be my prime ship.
Yeah, me too.
For the show.
I'll go with that because I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. That's all I'm really seeing for questions. So
we did it.
We did it, Reddit. I guess my question to the chat right now is, how is everybody? And because there's like a 3-second delay, it's going to take a little bit for people to answer.
That's probably the hardest question. How are you?
So, Ty?
Yeah.
How are you doing right now?
I'm doing okay. Actually, this is while we're waiting actually for responses. It's kind of funny because like for the Brits, the British people, what I learned very quickly when I started YouTube and interacting with them is that if you ask them like, oh, how are you doing? Or like typically they'll say like, are you okay? That's how they'll ask like, how are you doing? That's their version of it.
Are you
so
okay?
I had a friend, yeah, they'll be like, are you okay? And I had my British friend ask me that every time we got in a call. And like, I'd be like, because for me, I think like, oh, he's showing genuine concern here. Like, oh, okay. And like, so I'd pour like my life story. Like, well, I guess I'm doing okay. But like, oh, this is, and he'd be like, no, like, I'm just okay. Like, he would just bear with it. Then after like a month, he kind of just sort of said it. Like, you do know what I'm trying to say, right? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was funny. So
it's like, it's funny how you both speak the English language, but just two different, I guess, cultures, I guess, so to say, where it's just like they say things one way, but we take it another way, and you took it in that context when he meant it like this.
Yeah, it's wild sometimes. And like nobody teaches you this, and you're not going to stumble upon this unless you actually like talk to people in different parts of the world. But it's just interesting. Like I found that really funny. And then like I ribbed him about it for a while.
Yeah. Well, like I know one that I learned, and Now, any Brit or European folks in the chat who want to update on this, because I learned this from like watching older British and European like content, where instead of just saying goodbye or hello, sometimes they would say like good morning or good night, or like to say goodbye in the morning would be all right, good morning, and then it'd be like that was your goodbye, right? It wasn't right. So I'm not sure if it's still like that. But I know that that's one thing I learned with how, I guess, like, it just a differentiate in how we communicate. Again, despite speaking the same language. I think that's the most fascinating thing to me. We all speak, like, in both contexts, like, we're both English speakers, but just, like, where we grow up and kind of what customs and, I guess, in lack of a better way of saying it, cultures, right?
Yeah.
Or to say good morning here, it's like you're like, that's what you say to somebody who just kind of like just woke up, right? Or you're seeing them for like the first time in the day, and then if like you're saying good night, it's like that person is headed off to bed, and like that, like good night, see you tomorrow is basically what that is. It's not just it isn't a goodbye. Same with good morning, it isn't a goodbye here, right?
Yeah.
So
differences.
Yeah, but
so I noticed in the chat, Tyandaga, I think that's how you pronounce it. It says that they're doing fine, and they say that there's snow outside. And I looked outside, and there's a cloud of like black smoke coming like from one of the neighborhoods, like a bit far in the distance. So I hope they're doing okay. We don't have snow though. But we apparently have fire.
Somebody's house is burning down, but hey, snow, that's great.
Oh, well, I hope they're okay.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Jeez.
But yeah, no snow. I think they would have appreciated it, but yeah.
I have a love-hate thing with snow.
Oh yeah?
I like it when it just finishes falling and it's like, fresh snow on the ground, fresh powder, and how like it sparkles off the trees and on the floor, on the ground. It's very pretty. But then once it starts to melt, that's when I'm like, okay, it can go away now, because then it gets gross and brown and slushy and just I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's the worst.
What is your favorite season?
I like autumn, fall. I've always, it's like...
like, can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why, like, this might sound really like pessimistic or negative, but it's because like I don't like all the other seasons for certain reasons. So like spring, just as you described, is like, very messy. Like snow is melting usually, and like it's dirty and it's still cold. And just like really unpleasant. Like it's just a dark, unpleasant time still, at least where I live. Mm-hmm. Winter, of course, is winter. It's not bad, but again, it's cold. It's dark, right? It gets dark, but like before 5 p.m. So, and driving, of course, is worse too. Then summer is like brutally hot and humid. So you can't really even go outside too often because you're going to just start sweating and it's going to be, So you don't want that either. But at least autumn, it's like, it's not too hot. You're sort of getting the tail end of summer, but it's still warm enough and sunny enough where like you can enjoy the outside. There's like the leaves falling and changing colors. So it's like, it's really pretty as well. I don't know, like there's just, it's not as bad as the other seasons. That's a really negative way of looking at it, but I like autumn more. Or I guess I hate autumn less than the other seasons.
No, I'm in that same boat with you there. Autumn's probably my favorite. But Tyandaga says they're probably biased towards snow, though, because I love alpine skiing. And question for us, what is our favorite winter sport? And for me, there's only one winter sport that I really partake in, and that is downhill skiing.
Is it your favorite, though?
I mean, it's the only one.
It's the only one.
And thank you for confirming it that you were a he. I don't like to assume, so I corrected myself, but thank you. But what about you, Ty?
It's a bit of a weird one because some people might not say it's a winter sport, but it is in my eyes. It's basketball, surprisingly, because typically like any season you play, like whether it's through school or other leagues, they tend to run through the winter, because it's indoors. Usually you're playing on a court, but of course you can play it like in the summer too.
Yeah.
Outdoors, but it's not as good. I don't like outdoors as much because your shoes get wrecked so quickly. So yeah, so no, basketball probably is my favorite like sport during the winter. But if I had to pick like a more traditional winter sport, it would, yeah, skiing probably goes up there too.
Yeah.
I'm at least like okay at skiing, so it's not, I like it. Don't go too often though, but
You're a fast learner when it comes to skiing, and I hate how much you flex on me whenever you visit and we go skiing. And you're like, haha, I'm going to go to that Black Diamond now. And they're like, oh, right. As I'm there.
Well, that was the thing. You don't understand. So, like, obviously, like, in Ontario, like, we do not have the same kind of, like, high level of skiing as you would find in, like, Alberta or like, British Columbia, right? You've got, like, the Rockies there, and there's just so much more opportunity because you guys have, like, all these, like, awesome mountains and stuff. In Ontario, we don't have that. So, like, unless you, like, really drive, like, a tremendous distance to, like, someplace either in the States or, like, in Quebec or something, like, there's mountains that you can go to, but, like, it's a bit of a hassle. So, like, and again, like, throughout my life, like, I only went skiing, like, maybe once a year, and we did it as, like, a little family trip. And we would go to, like, ski hills that, like, they weren't, like, too big or anything. Like, they weren't too small either, but, like, kind of, like, like very sort of like beginner/intermediate kind of hills. But they were fun enough, but either way, like they weren't all that crazy. But then, and so like when I did the trip going to visit you and we were going to go skiing, I remember my parents saying like, oh, you're in trouble. Like, buddy, like you are going to get killed. And like my dad was even saying like, you really should like go skiing at least once this season before you go, so you don't like embarrass yourself. And I'm like, well, I don't really have the time to go, but I'll be fine. Like, I think, hey, you know what? Like, I don't have to like, if they start skiing laps around me, like that's fine. I can do like the buddy hills and like, work my way up. Like, I'll be fine. I'm a bit adventurous that way. I can do it. And then I get there, and I was surprised because I thought you'd be like ripping around me. I was shocked. I'm like, what happened? Like my expectation just like got pulled down, and like the mountains too. Like obviously we may not have been on like one of like the craziest mountains slopes there.
Marmot, I think it was Marmot Basin we were at, and that one is a popular one because it's in Jasper, which Jasper and Banff are two of like the biggest hot spots for travel. It doesn't matter winter or summer. It's like it's basically busy 24/7. Those two locations.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't so bad. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this is about the same as what I've always known. It's just the hills are longer, right? So you're on the slope for more time. It doesn't end as quickly, but otherwise it was like the same. I'm like, okay, I won't embarrass myself. Like that's good. I like that. I'm a fan of that. So
yeah. And disclaimer, I am not good at skiing at all. I think it's just kind of like a inadvertent tradition for me to like go ass over tea kettle at least once and like almost like nearly like really like almost really badly injure myself. Like I've never really badly injured myself as of yet. I've gotten like a near concussion and I nearly had to get stitches. It's been a lot of close calls, but I did. It was like a lot of really bad spills. And it's
you're like a baby deer on skis.
Shh, we don't need to draw attention to that. But I'm getting better though. Last ski season I actually went on a Black Diamond for the first time in my life. Sure, was I like the slowest person there and like the most unstable person on the slope? Oh yeah, 100%. But I did them.
Yeah, and that's important. Like that's good. Like you're not a bad skier. Like you're a good skier.
I'm just
you just happen to fall a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is. It's just it is how it is, I guess. But like you are good. Like let's not mince words here. But you just have a problem with falling.
When I fall, I make sure that it is a really good fall.
Yeah, you get the most of it.
Like, it's like, okay, if I am going to go, again, ass over tea kettle, we're going to make a statement out of it.
Yeah. I guess you could say the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, my glasses are still broken from last year.
Right,
so
yeah.
they're currently being held together by super glue. Because
You're going to get that fixed eventually, though, right?
Oh, when I go get, like, I'll just be straight up getting a new pair of glasses.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it was in, where is it called? Panorama. Now, out of all the mountains I've skied on, Panorama I think is my favorite, and I think it's because it is like it's a specific ski resort where your hotels are like at the base of the mountain, so it's like ski in, ski out, and like you don't have to go to the chalets. Like you can just go back to your room if you need to warm up and have lunch or whatever. So instead, so it's and like the hill itself is really nice, and it's got like 3 or 4 different chairlifts, and there's a lot of different routes you can take, right? And
Yeah.
I out of the ski hills I have been to, Panorama is my favorite, and any ski goers should go to Panorama. Make a trip of it.
Brought to you by Panorama Skiing.
Yep. Joke's on you. I'm sponsored. No, I'm not.
God, wouldn't that be nice, though?
Oh, yeah. Maybe one day.
Like, that's
Maybe.
the dream, is like getting like a sponsorship from like a company that like you, or like a place or whatever that you like actually really like.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh, it is. But Viandas sounds like they want to go skiing with me. Sounds like it would be fun.
It is fun. Yeah, you should go skiing with Maple. It's always a delight. There's always something that happens.
You'll always, no matter what, you might catch me with my annual epic spill of the year.
You always get a story out of it.
Yeah. Like, my last spill was basically a lesson of, hey, don't go down an icy black diamond while your glasses are foggy, because I couldn't see, which meant I couldn't see where the icy spotches were because they tend to shine more, but because my glasses were foggy, I couldn't. So I just took a wrong turn on a really bad icy spot, lost my balance, and I think I did like 3 flips.
Yeah, it's actually that was kind of what, like, I almost fell actually a couple times, because like same thing, except it wasn't fogging. It was I had like these, this is when I visited you, I had these like really old like ski goggles that I probably had since I was like a child.
Yeah.
And like I hadn't used in like many years. But like the foam padding that you like, it goes around like your face so that if you hit your face, it doesn't hurt as much. The black foam was like falling off in like really tiny little chunks, and it would get into my eyes. So like as you're going down a hill, you just find like something would like get into your eye, and like you instinctively have to close it. And there were a couple times where like both eyes I'd have to close.
Oh my god, that's so dangerous.
It's very dangerous. I know. I hated it, but like, what can I do? Like, there was nothing really I could do. But then I remember, whatever the ski resort was called that when I was there, there were a lot of rocks that were showing too.
Marmot Basin.
On some of it was a lot of rocks on the Black Diamonds. So like you'd be skiing and then like you'd hit like a little rocky patch or something, like exposed rock, and you'd be like, oh. Glad these aren't my skis.
Yeah, like, from what I've seen with the skiing and with like in the Rockies anyway, black diamonds will either be moguls, going through forest, basically 90-degree drops, or like just really rocky and just sketchy terrain. Like, those are the black diamonds. They're like, yep, we're not grooming these at all. You're just kind of fend for yourself and be smart about it, right? And sometimes, there were routes that I think people would just create themselves, where they just go off of a blue, right? And just kind of, then they'll just kind of drop off the side of it and then just kind of ski around, like, little trees and whatever that are on it, and just kind of treat it as, like, little custom-made moguls, I guess. And then they'd go to, like, it was basically a shortcut on a blue run, is what they would do. I was always like, yeah, no, never. Because every time you'd see that it looked like they were just jumping off a cliff. I'm like, I will never get to that point in my life.
Yeah, it takes, like, a certain amount of, like, bravery, I guess.
Yeah, it's
But yeah.
I you do you. I'm gonna stay on my blue runs and easy black runs. I am
Yeah.
fragile and also not the most adventurous when it comes to stuff like that. It takes a lot to get me to get out of my comfort zone.
I don't want my gravestone to say like died while skiing. That's not the plan. So, no, I hear you.
Yeah. But I mean, how bad would that be though to say that you died by skiing?
Death by ski. I don't know. It depends. It depends. Like it'd be cool if like there was like maybe like a little graphic on the tombstone, like a little like engraving or something that like showed exactly what happened.
Oh
So like
my
maybe I
God.
was trying to do like a really funny like backflip or something, but then like just didn't make the landing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
This is why I'm not in charge of like any like graveyard.
uh-huh.
'Cause
It's just like you're there running a funeral home and it's like this family comes to you just all like distressed over like this tragic death because like they were trying to do something just so outlandish and you're like, can you specifically describe to me what they were doing? And then that way you like get it engraved on the gravestone, like
Would you like the comic book, package? Where like we actually carved like a little comic strip.
like on the back of the tombstone.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, if I was a thrill seeker, and just because I like to cover my ass with stories, I would maybe want to do that for myself.
That way like future people will know that like you were a complete badass.
Yeah, and it's like, it wasn't as dumb as it sounds.
No, exactly.
Wow. No, never mind.
Never mind. Fair enough.
It's a bit of a morbid question,
Oh?
but if you had to choose, like, one way to die tragically, what would you pick?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, it has to be tragic, right?
Yeah, so it's not like you can't just say old age or...
Yeah, like peacefully in my sleep.
Yeah, it's gotta be like...
I don't know. Actually, that's a really tough question. It's not something that comes up in my day to day very much.
No? You don't think about this often?
Well, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't come up. Well, what would you do? Well, I think of maybe an answer.
Definitely, I think I want to be doing something like that's inherently badass. But
Right.
but like I don't want to, like the thing is the thing about dying is you don't want to suffer, right?
No.
So maybe like I'm like being this vigilante hero, and like I rescue somebody, but somebody has a gun to my head. I'm like, do it! I dare you! I already rescued everybody and return all the money to the bank, you bastard! And then they just shoot me in the head,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Ow. That's brutal. That's brutal.
Well, because it's like, sure, you can say like, yeah, I was mauled by a bear, but that's suffering. It's not instant, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Bears are not quick. I think for me, I'd probably I've kind of thought of it now. I'd probably want, if I had to die like a really tragic death, it'd probably like be like something to do with like space travel. Like I was in like a rocket ship or something, and like coming back like from the moon, and oh no, it didn't work, and I died tragically. Like that, I think that's got some good street cred with it, or maybe like in just general gang violence.
General gang violence. All right.
Just general gang violence.
It's like a 180 just pulled there. It's like, yeah, no, maybe like tragic spacecraft incident. I'm an astronaut. I'm like well educated with like all
Quite
this
noble,
science and
yeah.
stuff, and like you're really like making a name for yourself in a statement, and then just do a complete 180 and say no gang violence.
Gang violence, yeah. It's one way to go, I guess.
Like just like on the streets of mean streets of downtown Toronto.
Hey, actually, there has been a lot of gang violence in Toronto. A lot of shootings lately.
I know, and I'm not completely saying that sarcastically.
Most people do. Don't
Well-
blame them, of course. But still.
Hey, Hey, so Bloom Prism is trying to lighten the mood.
Oh, good.
Random funny question to try and lighten the mood. If there was a one fashion trend you wish would come back, what would it be and why?
Oh, how many hours does Maple have?
How about you?
I know you can think of like 20.
You go first. You go first.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't spend a lot of time with this.
Like, I guess for you, I would
you
word
start.
it like,
You start.
No,
I just don't know what to think of.
I guess for you, I would word it more like, you know how you hear people say, "Oh, well, I'm living in the wrong era. I want to be living in this year." But like you always say, "Well, I want to be living in the modern year because of like technology and medicine and all of those reasons." But if you could go back in time just because of the fashions, but say with our like modern technology, what time era would you go to?
You know what? This is kind of a funny one. I would love to see this brought back. The suits usually it's for men, men's suits from like the 80s and like 90s, where there were like these super like big, bulky, like you basically looked like a walking rectangle. And like there was just something about them. But nowadays, obviously, like men's suits are far more like form fitting. They obviously fit better. It doesn't look like you borrowed them from your dad. So I would definitely go back to those.
But then I guess what about women's fashion then though?
Women's fashion, I don't really know.
Like
can't think of anything off the top of my head.
If you'd have to bring back like all of it though.
I don't know. I don't know enough about women's fashion.
Like, so would you just generally say like 80s, 90s then?
I don't know, Regan. I truly don't. Like, I'm not trying to be difficult. I do not know.
Okay, well,
I know nothing about fashion.
I'll say mine while you think of it. Because this thing, you've watched enough TV.
Like, okay, 90s fashion had something to it, yeah. I think. But that's also just because, like, that's, like, kind of like the TV I grew up with. That's kind of, like, those were the clothes that I wore as a kid. Mm-hmm. So I guess, like, there is, although I hated it, it was the dorkiest stuff in the world. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think it is making a bit of a comeback. But I guess, like, the clothes and styles in the 90s, and I guess late 80s kind of goes into that, too.
Yeah.
Don't go too far back. It gets a bit crazy for me, but,
No, yeah. I wouldn't say, like, I would agree that I think a little bit of everything from 70s to the 90s is what, like, 2020 fashion is. I guess is what I would say it is, because I couldn't really say, like late 2010s and what is probably going to be going into, like, mid 2020s, what that fashion is. So I'd say you're partially right in saying that.
It's totally making a comeback.
Yeah, well, all of it is.
Everything.
Like, you're seeing stuff going, oh, well, that's such a 70s thing. But then it's like, oh, but then that's such an 80s thing. Or God, that's such a 90s thing, right? But it's all just kind of, like, meshed together. You know? Know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying, Vern?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
But I guess for me, if I had to bring back, like, one fashion trend or, like, era, I would have to say, like, 40s through the 60s, I would say. Just because it was, like, it was a lot classier then, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
And I don't know, it's something about the aesthetic that appeals to me, and, like, and, like, the dresses of that time.
It was far less casual.
Yeah, it was less casual, and it's like, well, because I just finished watching Queen's Gambit, and oh my god, I love it, and most of it is because of the costumes and, like, what they do and how they dress and what was expected of them in that era, and instead of, like, the comparison of here where in this era where it's like people are just, like, not giving two fucks, right? It's like, honestly, I don't blame them. If I want to walk out with my sweatpants on, goddamn it, I'm going to walk out with my sweatpants on, right? But there's something about, oh, well, we're going for an outing, so I'm going to, like, make myself look really good, do my makeup, put on, like, my nice stuff, and, I mean, it could just be, like, for a grocery trip, right?
Yeah.
Or even, like, airplanes, like, traveling in a plane, that was, like, seen as, like, a whole ordeal, and you'd dress up for that, and it was like, it was a classy, fancy thing. And I guess in that sense, I guess I just like classy, fancy stuff, but in like the older, classic kind of sense, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess like that's the thing. Like, obviously, it was a bit different then when going out to like even the store or something. Like, I think part of that too is like communities were a bit like more tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you kind of knew your neighbors a bit more. Whereas nowadays you don't really. People shift around a lot more and move around a lot more.
No, and my funny story about that. You're right. We don't really know our neighbors that much anymore, right? And if you do, it's either because they're like they're an outgoing group and they're like coming door to door and like, hey, we're your new neighbors, and just trying to be more friendly in that sense. Or say they're just an older group, like my grandparents, who when new neighbors move in their crescent, they make the effort to like go to their door, knock, say hello, give them like a little gift basket or whatever, be like, "Thanks, welcome to the neighborhood," kind of thing. But
hi, we're your new neighbors. I'll be the judge of that.
Funny story with that though. In our neighborhood, so we moved to a different neighborhood, and we've been living here for I think a couple years now, and we really aren't acquainted with our neighbors. And the other day, my mom, it was like kind of in like this funny mood, right, where she just like she wanted to try and scare myself or my sister or my stepdad, whoever was scheduled to come home around the time. And she heard the knock on the door or like the screen door opening, and she just like swung open the door and tried to scare them, but it was actually our neighbor. So mom just like swung the door open, like did like this noise or like did this thing, right? And then her neighbor's like, "Hi." I was just like, "Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I was expecting you to be somebody else."
That's so embarrassing. Oh my god.
And yeah, so, but our neighbors are nice enough people.
Well, they think you're nuts now too.
Well, yeah. I think this was when I was in the car with my sister, and I was just being a complete dork, right? But our neighbor just happened to walk out, and as we were pulling out of the driveway, I'm there thinking, like, what if they saw me just being an absolute nutcase in the front seat? Like, what kind of impression would they have of this house now? The mother of the household scared the ever-living shit out of one of them, and the other one looks like she's having, like, an absolute breakdown in the front of the car. So I think we're those neighbors where we make a scene. We don't intend to, but we do by accident.
You're the neighbors who the other neighbors like talk about amongst their like over dinner. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Well, I think everybody does that. Every neighbor does that.
Oh yeah, the gossip, of course.
I mean, you do it in your apartment. When I was there, it'd be like, you'd have your neighborly gossip.
Absolutely. I've never really met them, like, because obviously there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
So you can't really like meet people. But like you kind of get like these little stories, or like you hear them as they go in the hallway or something. So you get little stories and stuff. Yeah. Not too much gossip though, because like I've never actually like met any of them. So
no, but you have your own like, if you could talk about them around the dinner table, you would kind of stuff. Where it's just like the one neighbor that has a dog.
Two neighbors that have a dog. I swear, it's like as soon as they open their door, this dog just goes nuts and starts freaking out, and I don't know why. I don't get it. It's like, what does it gain? And like you can hear it freaking out until it gets to the elevator. Then the elevator closes, and that's when you hear the like a very distant yep. As it goes down, it gets quieter. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. And then that one neighbor who like opens up their door whenever they're making curry, so it just wafts all throughout the floor.
Yeah. It's literally the neighbor across, like just right across the hall. Like our doors are directly like adjacent to another. No, don't get me wrong. It smells awesome. Right, so I'm not really complaining, but at the same time, it's like you've got a window, like just use it, right?
Because not everybody likes the smell of curry. Now, here's the thing: curry for me, curry smells good only in like you know, if it smells like curry for a bit, then all right. But if it lingers for too much, I'm like, okay, can we just not with the curry right now?
You know what smell though really bothers me, and it sucks because it's like I think it should be legal.
Yeah.
And it's legal in Canada now.
Mm-hmm.
But marijuana.
Mary Jane?
Marijuana, devil's lettuce. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's I hate the smell.
Mm-hmm.
But of course it's legal now, right? And you can smoke it wherever you want. It's up to you really.
Well, I mean, you can smoke it wherever you want within the law.
Well, yeah, like within reason, of course, but like within your home, you're like you can do what you want. But
Yeah.
a lot of people, what they do is they go on their balcony and then they smoke it there. And of course, I like to keep my like windows open or like my sliding door open, so it always wafts in, and it's like, oh no, I want to keep it open because it's nice, like it's nice fresh air, but now it smells. Oh, and I always like loudly say like, oh, those darn weed smokers. Like try to make, hopefully someone will hear and feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I honestly don't mind the smell of weed. I've been around it enough where it's just like, you know what?
I've been around it
like,
enough. I just still hate it.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's a weird familiarity with me.
It's not an exposure thing for me. It's just I hate the smell. It's like nothing will change that.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That's just you. Well, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling with my hands usually, but otherwise maybe my feet. Okay.
Ty?
Yeah.
Before I beat you.
You can't beat me. I'm on the other side of the country.
I'll hop on a plane and beat your ass.
Yeah, well, well, that's dedication.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
And you wouldn't put it past me.
No, you have that kind of like ambition sometimes.
Yeah. Where if I want something done, I'm gonna get it done.
It's gonna get done.
It's gonna get done, gosh darn it.
Assault aside.
So yeah, how are you feeling there?
I'm feeling.
Okay, for the love of God. Stop.
Well, what's the question? I'm kind of. What's the aim
like,
of the question?
Like with the stream, like how are you feeling? Do we want to keep
Well,
going or?
I think it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good stream in my opinion.
I think so. And you know what? We talked a lot. We said a lot. We learned a lot.
We lived a lot.
I drew for about an hour and a half.
But you drew into our hearts, and that's what counts.
Yeah. So do we say we want to wrap it up then?
I think we might be wrapping it up, putting a bow on it, and giving that a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, well, I
Happy
guess
holidays.
Then I will say thank you for everybody who came out to the stream. We very much appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who followed and donated. It means a lot to me. And I hope to see you guys not next Friday, but the Friday afterwards. And also, I want to mention, do follow Ty on Twitter and YouTube, and he'll be dropping that video tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And I want to thank him for coming on, aka me dragging him on.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Glad to be here, Paul.
I'll also be posting a poll sometime next week for what I'm going to do for the next stream, so keep an eye out for that. You guys get to tell me what to do. So yeah, I guess with that said, thank you again for coming out, and we're done.
We're done. It's over.
We're done. Bye.
Bye.